And a very warm welcome. You're joining us here at Hyde Park on Other Derana 24. Tonight we will be talking about geopolitics, the role of women in shaping our region, South Asia, and the larger Asian region towards justice, harmony and true economic prosperity. Where Sri Lanka stands, the role of small states in bringing South Asia together, all this and how much diplomacy and women leadership can do, without forgetting climate change and climate action that we need to take today before it's too late tomorrow. I've invited to our studios three power women, if I may say, three women from the region representing Malaysia, Pakistan and the Maldives, who are here in Sri Lanka to talk about all that we're going to discuss, but also to share their expertise and experiences with our audiences here at Hyde Park. Let me introduce the three speakers at Hyde Park today. May I very warmly welcome the Deputy Minister of National Unity from Malaysia, Senator Saraswathy Kandasamy. A very warm welcome to Sri Lanka.
And good to be in your show today.
Certainly, we are very honored to have you here. We also have in studio joining us from Pakistan, Huma Chughtai, member of the National Assembly of Pakistan, a specialist in international human rights law, Sharia, gender and governance, a member of Parliament from Pakistan is here in Sri Lanka. So we will have a number of things to talk about South Asia as well. Yes. Welcome to Sri Lanka.
Thank you very much.
Last but not least, I have joining me in discussion tonight, Dr. Mariyam Shakeela, former Cabinet Minister of the Maldives and currently serving as the Honorary Consul of Belgium for Maldives, and also a well-known female entrepreneur and someone who tirelessly works for women's economic, political and social empowerment. A very warm welcome to you.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Certainly, we're honored to have all three of you here. Dr. Shakeela was notably acting Minister for Foreign Affairs of the Maldives, Minister of Environment and Energy, Climate Change, Gender, Family, Human Rights, and even Minister of Health. So I think we have a lot to discuss today, very little time. I will ask you first on the theme, what Malaysia is doing today. We know Malaysia has made a lot of advancements in terms of whether it's economic prosperity, gender, or even in terms of development and integrating with the larger Asian region as the current chair of the ASEAN. What is Malaysia doing right today, and what challenges do you see amidst the geopolitical power shifts that we experience?
Okay, Malaysia is the chair for ASEAN this year. We have hosted a series of summits and events in Malaysia. And Malaysia sees itself in the strategic position to play a very constructive role in the region to build a very prosperous ASEAN, and also to become the center for a good relationship with Southeast Asia because of its strategic location. And Malaysia has played a very vital role in the past, and we have continuing to play a moderate role in the sense that we practice non-alignment policy. In that sense, I think Malaysia is seen as a good negotiator for peace. And you could have seen, you'd have seen that happening in the past, where Malaysia has taken firm and affirmative stand on certain issues globally and also in the region. So I would say that as far as Malaysia is concerned, because of its policy of non-alignment and taking very moderate approach in all of its affairs and also the regional and the global matters that's happening, Malaysia sees itself in a good position. And as far as you asked what are the challenges that Malaysia faces, just like any other country, in the world, Malaysia is also equally affected by the geopolitical conflicts, the war, etc. But Malaysia is building itself to be resilient in facing up to any kinds of challenges. And Malaysia not being a very being a moderate country, I think we will be able
moderate in terms of foreign policy?
Moderate in terms of foreign policy, moderate in terms of its within the country.
How much moderation are you talking about?
Okay, as I mentioned earlier, our foreign policy, we maintain that we maintain our non-alignment policy, and within the country we have a national unity ministry. I think, if I'm not mistaken, our country is the only country which has got this unique ministry, where we ensure that there are no extreme elements happening within the country. We have preventive measures like with the technologies and the social media being the biggest challenge in maintaining stability. We have counter actions by bringing down any extreme thoughts, extreme sharings and things like that. And we give the space. We are giving the freedom of expression. We have freedom of practicing culture, religion. But at the same time, we are also very cautious to maintain the peace and stability within the country.
I'd like to speak about that later on in the discussion further. But before that, you mentioned about certain steps that Malaysia is taking to withstand the current global challenges, whether it's wars, constraints to supply chain, or whether it's the geopolitical tensions that we see. What key decisions has your government taken in the aftermath of Trump's tariffs, as well as other challenges and obstructions we face globally?
Okay, we had a good negotiation to bring down the tariff to 19% for the region. And that, having said that...
What was your leverage? What was Malaysia's leverage there?
It was through a negotiation because we didn't react, or we thought that we can achieve something through negotiations, and I think that was the outcome of the continued negotiation. And the role that we play, the non-alignment role, but we are also affirmative on certain human violation. If there is any violation of human rights, we are in fact, our Prime Minister has been very, very vocal on that, on what is happening in Gaza and all that. But having said that, we also maintain a good relationship with all countries. And I think that is the political diplomacy that the country is engages itself into discussions on all matters. And we have never thought that, no, this is our stand in this matter, so we are not going to have any form of discussions. So I keep repeating that because I think that is the strength where Malaysia's strength in being able to negotiate. And secondly, you asked how Malaysia is positioning itself to face the challenges or the imposition of tariff. As one is the negotiation. At the same time, we are also trying to mitigate the situations within the country by empowering, reskilling the labor force in Malaysia to be able to be more competitive, sustainable. And those are the measures that are being taken, among many others.
Certainly, thank you very much for that overview of what's happening in Malaysia. I'd like to turn to Pakistan here, a key member in the South Asian region, and we've seen recent challenges in terms of tensions escalate between India and Pakistan, important partners for Sri Lanka. India, Sri Lanka's closest neighbor, largest power in South Asia, and has been to Sri Lanka's aid during the crisis. Pakistan, a long-standing ally of Sri Lanka, has been a key partner in Sri Lanka's fight against terrorism and also has been an ally at UNHRC sessions that we're talking about in recent times. But we'd like to know what's happening in Pakistan. You are a member of the governing party, the
Nawaz.
Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz, the governing party of Pakistan. What decisions are key to the government at this point?
Current situation is something that we see a ray of hope, in the sense that we are going around in different forums, in different countries to talk about what we are up to, what we are facing, and unless and until the bilateral core issues like Kashmir issue is resolved, we will not be able to move ahead, because this is a very contentious issue. Pakistan is trying its best at every forum to raise the issue for the sake of peace and stability in the region, for the prosperity of the region. Because unless and until there is social cohesion, there is stability, economic development will never take place in the region. We might prosper individually, but that would be a lame prosperity. That would not be a complete prosperity. And obviously the spillover, the effects are on the entire region. And Pakistan is very much mindful of that. And we want to resolve these issues peacefully, because we are a peaceful country. And we have been facing, many challenges, like of terrorism. We have been fighting war on terrorism for past 10 years at least, where we are, and every day, our soldiers, our senior officers are suffering, they're losing their lives, and we are standing. Our basic slogan right now is to stand as a formidable wall against terrorism. We are defeating it, we are fighting it as a formidable wall. So this is how we see. We are two big countries, and we need to support not only each other, but also other countries that are around us. So this is how I see things. The world is watching how Pakistan is reaching out to all the countries. Our Prime Minister was just in Malaysia 2 days back. We've been to the US, the UK, we've been to Russia, and all those international conferences where we raised our voice, and how people have accepted that things that went wrong, Pakistan had not done anything about it. We are very peace-loving people. We want to have peace in the region. We completely understand that unless and until there is economic stability, there will not be any social cohesion, or you cannot live together in a region.
How do you think Pakistan will work to win the rest of the world, especially with the kind of allegations against Pakistan that terrorists are being trained,
and
Pakistan
no, we are not the trainers.
is a breeding ground for terrorism. So how would you really work with the rest of the world?
It's certainly not, because we have picked out all these breeding grounds. It is cross-border terrorism that is taking place from our western borders and eastern borders. Mostly from our western borders, which are fighting a proxy war on account of our neighboring country, India. So we are fighting that out. That's what I'm saying. We are not a breeding ground. We are taking it out of us, and we have very strong evidence that we have proposed and shown it to the world community all over. Even right now, we have a Navy officer, a senior Navy officer, Kulbhushan Jadhav, who is under arrest in Pakistan for having created, instability in Balochistan, in other places as well. So the thing is that we will not take this anymore. We are not a breeding ground for terrorism. We stop and we are fighting terrorism, and we are at the forefront. Even last night, we had one colonel, we had one major, we had two captains, and about, I think, 10 or 12 Jawans, the soldiers who were targeted by the terrorists, and how we fought it out, and we lost them.
You are convener and founding member of the Parliamentarians' Caucus on Social Cohesion and Peaceful Coexistence in Pakistan since 2024.
Yes.
How important is this social cohesion and unity among your people to fight the challenges that your country faces from economic instability to political?
You see, as you're aware that, like in the region, we have people from different faiths as well and from different races as well, because South Asia has been, has been a place of diversity. We have had different races over here. So in Pakistan as well, we have, like about 96% Muslims and the rest are non-Muslims. The Constitution talks about Muslims and non-Muslim citizens, but not like of any particular, they don't use the term minority, because if we use the term minority, then we are belying our equality of citizenship article of the Constitution. So we see that, the non-Muslim communities which are, Hindus, the Christians, they're Buddhists, they're Zoroastrians, and Baha'is. So how do we bring them together and make sure that they are respected equally? Because the founding father of Pakistan, Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah, had said that you're free to go to your places of worship. That has nothing to do with the affairs of the state. So you go there, you pray, you do what you want to do, but then come back and contribute to the development of the state. So this is what his thing was, and this is what the concept of Pakistan was, and this is also the concept of Islam, because we are Islamic Republic of Pakistan.
I'd like to move to Dr. Mariyam Shakeela. You were Minister of a key portfolio, environment, energy and climate change. All that we need for, as we talk about energy security, climate action, protection of environment, for the sustainability not only of our individual states and countries, but also for the entire world to sustain our achievements as a humankind. What is the Maldives doing today to take action, as I said earlier, so that we're not late if we wait until tomorrow, especially with the kind of climate challenges that the Maldives as a small island state, as an archipelago, faces?
As you know, I'm not in politics at the moment, so I cannot say in detail exactly what they are doing, but I know for sure that they are advocating for solutions to combat climate change, not only on behalf of the Maldives, but also on behalf of everyone in the region, because climate change issues are not only impacting just people, the economy, it is impacting the whole lifestyles, the livelihood of everyone. And Maldives being a very, very small island nation, like many other countries in the world, Maldives is also suffering. And then so in every forum, in every COP, in every instrument that comes out, they become signatories to that as the first party to come and sign those agreements, those conventions, in order to protect. They are also constantly and very actively advocating for funds, because without funds we will not be able to, like for example, bring the coastal protection that is required for the country. We will not be able to replenish the water, for example, the groundwater, which is getting salinated because of constant floods. The storms have become more violent, more frequent, and although on a daily basis that you don't see that sea level rise, when it becomes like when there's a storm, it has devastating effects on us. So for Maldives, fighting to combat climate change is is very much connected to their existence. It's just not something that they are obliged to do. It is an obligation, it's a necessity. It is also connected with our livelihoods and for our whole existence. And then so in all the different forums, as I mentioned before, Maldives has been advocating. And what you must know is that, you know, we can't have, for example, an economic growth without addressing climate change. Because for a country like Maldives and even in Sri Lanka, climate change disrupts livelihoods. Climate change washes away our beaches. Climate change washes away our homes. And climate change affects us in many different ways. Like, for example, Maldives, our groundwater is not safe to drink. The transboundary movement of air pollution that comes from the region is affecting even our rainwater. And the erosion of our land is a huge issue. So yes, Maldives is constantly fighting. We may be small, but our fight is very strong and their voices are heard very much. In fact, Maldives is one of the first countries that raised the issue of climate change becoming an issue on the livelihood of people, and brought the global attention to that. From several governments. Every single government, no matter what they are, what party they belong to, they have been fighting.
Maldives heavily dependent on tourism as a livelihood, industry, a foreign exchange earner. With all that, there is also challenges, not just Maldives, but Sri Lanka too faces. As small island states, it is evident that the global south remains a victim of most of the climate action taken by the West or other developed countries. So what are we collectively doing here, and what measures are the Maldives taking in order to lead the action against climate change?
Their voices. Their voices go to the international fora, all the international platforms that are provided. Maldives is there as a strong voice. What else can we do? Because financially we are not as strong as the West, or not even as strong as Sri Lanka, or not as strong as Pakistan or Malaysia or any other countries in the region. But then again, when we talk about it, you know, our economy is affected very much so. Like there's the bleaching of the reefs, coral reefs, which is what actually the habitat, the flora and fauna, the life in these reefs is what actually gives us our white sand, which is what attracts foreigners. So if there is no reef that attracts people, if there's no nice beach, white sandy beaches, then tourism is affected. And tourism is a major income earner. It is our life in many ways. So we do everything possible to protect our reefs, to protect our waters, to protect our lands, and then also to attract tourism into the country.
You're engaged in conflict resolution, violence prevention, and peace building. We're aware that our countries are fighting drug abuse, major flow of drugs into our borders. Maldives is also suffering from this and has to tackle this urgently. So what measures are being taken? What are your concerns about the flow of whether it's drugs, whether it's illegal products or whatever that should not enter our borders?
Okay, so when it comes to conflict resolution and peace building, both Huma and I belong to an organization called International Civil Society Action Network. And then also we are affiliated with that organization, and there's an organization called Women's Alliance for Security Leadership, which is WASL. We have members from all over the world fighting for peace. Whether it is violent, in relation to violent extremism, or whether in relation to conflicts within the country related to drugs, or even domestic violence and violence against women in many forms. So a lot of trainings. Before I go there, I work through lots of organizations, like civil society organizations. I also belong to a lot of international organizations like South Asia Women's Development Forum, which is called SWORDOF, South Asia Women's Network, and many other forums like this, and then of course WASL, working on women, peace and security leadership. What we do is, first of all, we need to create awareness. So we do a lot of training. So whatever training that we do these trainings to bring women, to empower women to come forward as leaders and then fight against conflict. Teach them what to do, how to recognize when there is an issue within the country or within their community, for example. And as you know, Maldives are small islands, and it is not easy to work in these islands because it is geographically dispersed. It's not like working in Malaysia, for example, which is a big landmass. So for us, we conduct a lot of trainings, and in all of those trainings, we bring a component of peace building. That means, like, for them to gain enough confidence to come forward as leaders within their communities, and also to identify a problem before it escalates to a level where the person or the group is going for, like, for example, jihad or whatever else, or becoming violent or change in behavior and all that. So we have people trained for that in whatever island that we undergo these trainings.
Right, I think it's time we take a short break here at Hyde Park. We're in conversation with three power ladies who take action where they come from, who take decisions to contribute to the good of the world and the prosperity of their own communities. We'll be right back after this short break. To stay with us at Hyde Park. Welcome back. We are in conversation with three power ladies. Dr. Mariyam Shakeela, former Cabinet Minister of the Maldives, Huma Chughtai, Member of the National Assembly of Pakistan, and Senator Saraswathy Kandasamy, Deputy Minister of National Unity of Malaysia. Now let's turn to talk about South Asia and Asia as a whole. We talk about the European Union, we talk about BRICS, we talk about all economic blocs that work together for common interest to integrate in terms of trade and investment for people-to-people contact. But South Asia, although Malaysia is not part of South Asia is the least integrated. Our countries suffer because of the lack of integration, despite our countries being resourceful, or we have the most resources, assets that countries can have, and the people also are talented just as anywhere else. But somehow the political and economic challenges that we face have kept the region less integrated. But we'll hear from Malaysia here, what Malaysia is doing and how ASEAN has helped the region integrate, and what prospects you think are ahead for our countries.
Okay, Malaysia, I think in the past we have had very strong economic ties with all the individual countries from Southeast Asian region, not as a bloc, but we have had strategic partnership, comprehensive strategic cooperation agreements. So in every with each and every one of the countries in the South Asian region, we have a cooperation, we have our trade bilateral agreements, and I think in the past the trade has grown significantly. So we consider the South Asian countries as very important partners to Malaysia. In terms of, so when the summit, during our ASEAN summit, South Asian country leaders have been invited to attend the conference, and we hope that we can, as a strong, with, as you have mentioned earlier, the South Asian countries are very strong in, they are resourceful, and it's also growing fast. In the last, I was here about 25 years ago, and I'm here after 25 years, and I'm seeing tremendous changes that have happened in Sri Lanka alone. So it's the same to India, and we had a delegation of women entrepreneurs from Nepal. In the midst of all the chaos that were happening in their own country, but they were strong enough to travel, to come to Malaysia to see how we can have a B2B relationship. So I feel that, one, in the South Asian countries, the women are being empowered. So that is assisting the growth of this region. And for Malaysia, as long as there is an economic growth surrounding our country in that region, that will have an impact on the economy of Malaysia. So I believe that if the bloc becomes there's more cooperation, and if they can emerge as even a greater economic zone, then I think the immediate beneficiary would be the ASEAN countries, because we are the closest to South Asian countries. So I believe that there will be more efforts made for a stronger South Asian region.
How does Malaysia work with the balancing of local values and global economic policies? Because it becomes sometimes, when you practically approach the question of economic pragmatism and protection of your cultural values, there seems to be a major decision or a weight that you carry forward. So is there conscious focus or decision making in the country?
Yes, I would say yes, because when I delivered my keynote address 2 days back, I emphasized that societal value and religious values are very important to ensure that while there is exponential growth, that is supported by values and not so otherwise, as much as we talk about climate change is affecting globally, if we don't have strong foundation or values, then we will see chaos and conflicts happening. So from the lesson learned from the global environment, even the Prime Minister in his address at the National Education Conference, he has emphasized that yes, we need to concentrate in the current changes, that the era of AI, technology advancements, and all that, we have to also have inbuilt even in our educational system the values, so that we don't become valueless society when we are focusing very much on the economic growth and also technological advancement.
I'd like to turn to Huma. Is South Asia's prosperity integration important to Pakistan? And what role does Pakistan intend to play, especially in bringing our countries together? When I mention least integrated, it's because each of our countries do little to take SAARC forward. And also we're aware of the political difficulties that our countries face in working together. So how do we really navigate these existing tensions to not delay South Asia coming together?
It's a very pertinent question that you just posed. Yes, this is a situation that we are, grappling with, and Pakistan looks at, making sure that region will prosper because the countries will prosper. And if the countries will prosper, they cannot prosper unless and until there is social cohesion within, if there is political stability within, and how we promote trade and all. But then SAARC has to be strengthened, because all these blocks and forums are there to support their respective regions. And SAARC is lagging behind. We see, we want to convene a summit, it doesn't get convened for whatever reasons. And mostly they're geopolitical reasons that they just drag their feet on. So these are the things that we need to, I think this is about time Pakistan thinks that we rise above certain things and, move forward. But then there are certain contentious issues that need to be, like Kashmir is an issue. We want a plebiscite and, decide it once and for all, and that will help, move forward. And maybe, together we should prosper in terms of trade. Now, if you see, we get things from India, India gets things from us, but it has to come through third party somewhere. If it was directly, things would be much cheaper, and we can relate to each other's so many things. But then we have to, resolve this, and Pakistan is trying its best to get on board all the countries in the region to sort of work towards it together. Because yes, we do understand there are so many pressures by these larger countries, but then obviously, and everyone is suffering. Pakistan is working towards it. We want to promote trade. We want to promote, social cohesion. We want to promote amongst the region. So we are looking at that, and I think we will soon be very successful in getting that done. But SAARC, yes, has to get strengthened. Because, yeah, sorry.
No, go ahead. Finish your...
Yeah. So, because unless and until SAARC isn't put in place, because people then also criticize, SAARC is there, what is it doing? OIC is there, what is it doing? XYZ is there, what are they doing? But then SAARC is the one that is, suffering, and the country and the people are suffering.
I'd like to turn to Dr. Mariyam Shakeela on the same question, SAARC, and also our countries. We've been constantly on the news in relation to the geopolitical power play that we talk about, whether it's India, China, the United States. India is important to us, a regional powerhouse. China is important to our part of the world. The United States is, and Japan is. So we can go on about that. But in terms of diplomacy, how can we look at inclusive diplomacy, but also work with these countries, not just to the benefit of our countries, but we're talking about sensitivities surrounding our region?
As I said, I'm not a politician, but as an individual who is
You were
affected,
a politician.
I was a politician,
and I
yes,
think you'll
but
never
what I
stop
mean is
being
I'm
one.
not working in the government, not in that capacity. But this is an issue whether a person is in politics or not in politics is something that is concerning. When you compare with European Union, for example, which is doing fantastically well, what is the reason for their growth? Their growth is because of the cohesion, because of the collaborative nature of work that they are doing, because they have learned to uphold the regional interest above the individual issues that they have within their countries. As like for example, Japan and Germany and France may have some issues but then they do not put that forward when it comes to regional growth. SAARC needs to learn, our region needs to learn, because there is already a body that is already existing and has been doing very well for a while until problems started. And unless the countries, the regional countries, learn to prioritize regional growth above the individual issues that they have, we will not grow. And then if the SAARC region does not grow, this means a small country like Maldives, for example, would suffer a lot, because when it comes to resources, we are very poor when it comes to those kinds of resources. The only resource that we have, sun, sea, and the sand, and the people. And if you look at the region, for example, our region, just like even in ASEAN, you know, we have the richest of the richest. We have got the most intelligent people. We have got the richest resources that you could imagine. This is all going for waste because we are not able to utilize that properly.
And share it among our people.
And then share it among our people. So we have to come, like SAARC has to become active, and SAARC needs to work together. You see, when it comes to, I mean, as I mentioned before, I'm sitting in different regional forums. When it comes to, let's say, I mean, we cannot, when we talk about region, we can't stop talking about Pakistan or India. You see, when they come together, they are the best of friends. And they work so beautifully to bring, and then they start doing individual businesses. Like, for example, I'm also in the SAARC Chamber of Commerce. When they meet over there, they don't see any issues. They think, in fact, I have to tell you this. In one of the forums that I went there, initially when they went, Pakistan was sitting here. I think, Huma, I think you were there as well. And then there was India sitting over there. And then when they came in, you know, they're not talking to each other and all that. And after a little while, they said, oh, you are nice. You know, of course you're nice, you know. And then they started doing business together and all that. So there are, as you mentioned, Minister, there are individually people are doing business. Imagine if we can translate this into the regional growth, regional interest. This would become huge, and we would be more powerful than EU in many ways.
Maybe they really don't have a problem. Maybe we should ignore the problem and then bring them to a major platform, and India, Pakistan will certainly work together,
think,
and South
the
Asia
differences
will
are
prosper.
minute compared to the commonalities. What is common to all of us, where we can all agree, is huge in comparison to the little differences that we have.
I'm told we don't have much time, so I want to talk about this, especially because I have 3 women, ladies, female participation is a big topic, but it has become also a real topic that we talk about just to get the narrative across, or just to get attention on Women's Day, or just to talk about the importance of women as a CSR project. But really,
women should become leaders in this region.
Yes, but really, if we talk about the logic behind women, whether in politics, whether in enterprise, whether in diplomacy, whether in law, whether in franchise, whatever women do, we bring a sense of trust, empathy, and also justice when we talk about it. So all these minute problems that you mentioned sometimes are not a concern for women. So how important is diplomacy and the leadership of women? What is proven right to Malaysia as we move forward?
We have had Deputy Prime Minister, women, who led a party for about 20 years, 25 years, in a very, that's the ruling party today. She started and she led that party. That shows that a woman can lead and bring about changes in a political framework. But the thing is, there must be a space for that. When a space is created for a woman, and a woman is unstoppable. So I believe that women were given this opportunity very much later in time. Education, opportunities, the space were all given at a very recent days, but yet the women have shown what's the worth, and the narrative that women cannot lead, women cannot perform has already been broken. But now what is important is in a political scenario, the women should be given more opportunity, like for example, to hold negotiations between countries where there is higher level of conflicts, because I believe women can broker better peace than men, because I think the women feel they are the first to be affected when there is a conflict, the women and the children that they hold close to them. So I think that in a geopolitical situation or in the world across, there must be more opportunity, space should be given for women to play. But I think it's no more time for us to seek opportunity. I think women have grown enough to demand for that position, and we create our own space to lead the world.
I think the next question on the same topic, women leadership diplomacy, is to you, Huma. When we talk about bridging the divide between political realism and moral responsibility, what responsibility lies for leaders, women leaders especially, and why are women leaders so important in bridging that gap?
Well, women leaders, women have a lot of responsibility, and I think they can turn around. They are agents of change. I firmly believe that. And if I speak for Pakistan, we have seen, and even in the region, Madam Derana was the first woman Prime Minister, head of the state. We have had in the struggle of Pakistan, women equally struggling and the non-Muslims struggling to have this separate homeland. Then we have had lady governors, we have had lady pilots. Benazir Bhutto was the first ever Muslim woman in an elected democratic country. Then we had the first ever lady speaker in the region as well at that time. So we are there, you know, like, and women can play a very important role. And for me, I would think that women can turn around, and we have the first ever Chief Minister for Punjab, the largest province, and she is doing miracles. She doesn't sleep for more than 4 hours, and she goes to every place. She went to the janitors, she wore their jacket and talked to them, and women janitors, that I want to uplift you. She went to the police to draw more women police, wore the uniform, and she was so inspirational. About the climate change, Pakistan is inundated right now, as you know. And she has, you know, like for the climate change also, she has, you know, there was a huge garbage dump that she turned around through earth and soil over there, and has grown forest over there, you know, planted trees. So women, she is doing, and there is so much of sense of competitiveness amongst other provinces and provincial leaders that, you know, they cannot, you know, be next to her, the next level. She's at the next level. So women can do a lot of work. Even in Pakistan, if we talk about diplomacy, we have had women ambassadors in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and umpty number of them. I even have a sister, elder sister was a diplomat as well. And they have done a lot of work in bringing countries together, bringing in trade, bringing in peace, and so much support that women, because women think differently. They want to bring in a change that is contextualized, that does not, because they see religion, culture, you know, as facilitation for peace and stability and move forward, instead of the perception that it brings them down. So we have had a lot of opportunity to train and bring awareness amongst women in Pakistan, and we are doing that. We want to do that in governance, in policy making. We have Women's Parliamentary Caucus in the Parliament of Pakistan, and from that we went on to create a South Asia Regional Women Caucus. And interestingly, Pakistan wanted to do that. We did that. The rules were drafted none other than your Rosie Senanaike, who was the parliamentarian at that time. And then it was housed in Dhaka, in Bangladesh. And we are going to revive that, inshallah, to have, you know, women to women talk among the women parliamentarians,
Right.
to do something about this region and talk on minimum agreeable agenda to start from there. So this is what our vision and mission is about. We are very much pro-women. We want to make sure that women who make half of the population bring in their own perspectives, and they have those soft skills, soft ways of managing things.
Certainly.
So we are, inshallah, moving forward. And SAARC, yes, I think this caucus will do wonders once these women get together and put their mind to it.
Mariyam,
Yes.
what institutional changes, amendments should we bring, especially in South Asia, to help to push women to take up these leadership? And how do we not miss out on the gains that women have made, politically speaking, diplomatically speaking? Because Sri Lanka had the world's first Prime Minister, Madam Sirimao Bandaranaike. We had a female president, Madam Chandrika Bandaranaike Kumaratunga. And Colombo, you mentioned about former Mayor Rosie Senanaike, consecutively have had female mayors. Colombo is Sri Lanka's financial capital. From the Maldives, what can we hear?
Let me talk about the region, okay, not only just Maldives. Maldives, for example, has got laws from head to toe, all different kinds of laws. And the region also needs to come up with, for example, since we are talking about women, gender equality law. Maldives has it. Maldives also has come up with a gender equality action plan in relation to this one. The whole issue is, and I'm sure a lot of our other countries, regional countries, also has laws in relation to this. When it comes to implementation is where we fail, you know. So no matter how many laws that you have or how many quotas that you come, if this is not implemented, it doesn't work. So I think as a region, as a country, whether it's Maldives or Sri Lanka or India or Malaysia or any other regional countries or even ASEAN countries, unless we have structures that are effective when it comes to implementation and someone is monitoring them, we will not be able to move forward.
Yes.
And as Huma mentioned, and as also Minister here mentioned, you know, like we have strong women in our region. We have strong women who has a track history of doing a lot of good work. But then again, I also feel that in a way we are regressing.
Right.
Because when you look at our history of strong women, we are not getting them, or the opportunities are not created. Even if a woman is courageous enough to come forward, for example, to come up for a position, let's say even the president or prime minister or even to the parliament, there are a lot of other forces that come in and she gets chucked out when it comes to voting. Because votes can be bought and sold. And this is where the whole issue is. So to me, really, having these laws, enacting these laws, and implementation is what we need to work in order to bring women forth.
Certainly. Thank you very much for these powerful, insightful thoughts, and thank you for your time in Sri Lanka. I must also thank Women in Management,
yes.
For bringing you to Sri Lanka for us to have this conversation, at least starting off. Dr. Sulochana Sigera, Chairperson of Women in Management, and congratulations to all three women for being recognized as top change makers at the WIM Top 50 Awards. And you're here for the Economic Forum of, and we spoke about diplomacy, women, and the changing world. So we had with us, joining in studio at Hyde Park on Other Derana 24 today, from a far right, Dr. Mariyam Shakeela, a former cabinet minister of Maldives and currently an entrepreneur and works for women's economic, political and social empowerment. We also had, speaking on Hyde Park today, Huma Chughtai, member of the National Assembly of Pakistan, a specialist in international human rights law, Sharia, gender and governance. Thank you for your presence here as well. And last but not least, Senator Saraswathy Kandasamy, Deputy Minister of National Unity of Malaysia. Thank you for your presence and for sharing your thoughts with us at Hyde Park. We'll see you again next week with yet another discussion here at Hyde Park. Enjoy the rest of the lineup of programs. Have a pleasant evening. Good night.